I'm just going to talk to you about how to take a set of data and to draw a tally and frequency table from this. We have looked at frequency tables earlier on in the unit when we did bar charts and pie charts, and we also briefly looked at them when we did averages. So today is just going to focus purely on how to create the table, and if you want to look at how to use them, which will summarize some of the uses at the end of this video, and if you want more detail on that, then please do go back and look at one of the other videos that we've made. So let's jump in then. So here's an example. We've got some students who have taken a spelling test and they've got scores out of 10, and the information is summarized and just put on a page, not in any order, like that table over there. So we want to make a tally table for this information. First thing we need to look at is the data that we have. And we need to think, okay, what is the smallest and what is the biggest number? We can see that when we look at this data, we've got a 2 here and a 10 here. So that tells us that the data goes from 2 to 10. So we need to make sure that we've got space to fill in that information, and it goes up in ones. This, hopefully from our previous video, we can see that this is discrete quantitative. So we know that the intervals, it's going to go up in every one. So when we want to draw a tally table, oh no, we need to add the extra page. So when we want to draw a tally table, and first of all we need to make sure we've actually got the information, we need to always draw the same thing. We draw 3 columns. Nice, using a ruler, notice mine makes nice straight lines, and we're going to do 3 columns. In the first column is we have what the data is about. So in this case it's about the marks. The next column is always our tally column, and finally we finish with the frequency. And remember, that's really what the data is all about. We know from before that the numbers start at 2 and they go all the way up to 10, and they're going up in discrete intervals of 1 each time. I've had to kind of squash mine in, so do make sure you leave yourself space. So then we just kind of run through the data and we make a tally for each number that we've got. The smallest data is 2. You can see we've got a 2 here, so I cross it off and I make a little mark. I then continue on to the 3s. I can see that I've got 1, 2, so I go, okay, I've got a 3, I cross it off. I've got another 3, I cross it off, and that's all of the 3s. I then do this for 4, so I say, okay, I've got, so I start at the top, nothing in the top, nothing next. Oh, I've got a 4 here, make a mark. Oh, got another 4 here, make another mark, and another 4 here, and then make a 3rd mark. You can either do the frequency at the end, or as you go along, you can see I've got 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2 3s, and 3 4s. My columns are a bit messed up because I've not really planned my spacing tools. I'm just going to redo this so I know that it matches up nicely. I've got a 2, and I've got a 3, and finally I've got a 4. See the 5s next. I can see that I've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and I've got 3, 5. And I keep going down the table until I've done all of the data. I've got 1, 6. I've got another 6. Why are we doing these tallies? Well, it's when we've got a lot of data, it's so that we don't miss any of it out. Now I've got my 4, 6, and I've got another 6 coming up in the bottom right. As we cross it out, we put a line through, and that line indicates it's 5. It makes it easier for us to count quickly if we've got lots of numbers. So I can see the frequency here is 5. And like I said, we keep going through the data. I've got 7s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, as I go through this, I can just do a quick check and I think, oh, I've got all the 7s, and I go, oh, no, I've missed one, so I do the 6th one, and I add another. I start a new section with a little gap in between. So that's 5 and 1 makes 6 altogether. And we keep going through all the data, and we should finish with something that looks like this. Now, we know that our scores could have been anywhere from 0 to 10, but because there's no zeros and ones, there's no need to put them in our frequency and tally table. we can just leave that section blank. We should end up with something that looks like this. Now, why do we bother with a tally table? Well, there's lots of reasons, and I'm just going to summarize them. And it's all some of the things that we've seen before. Having a frequency table makes it much easier to draw a pie chart. It also makes it easier to draw a bar chart. It makes it easier to find our averages, and it makes it easier to find our range. Like I said, if you're not sure how to do those from the table, then please do consult with the previous videos, particularly the pie chart and bar chart ones. So, tally tables is a way of collecting information from large groups of data. It puts the data in order from smallest to biggest. Here it goes from 2 to 10, so smallest to biggest, going down the table. It makes sure that we don't miss any values, and most importantly, it gives us the frequencies, which tells us how many we have of each. And then we can use that in the ways shown there. And that's it for tally tables. So tally tables are more a part of the working out, perhaps, than necessarily a final end product, but they're really, really important, and they're really commonly used in statistics. So it's very important that you can quickly and accurately use one to present data like so.